Good afternoon, Agent TCR. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to deploy a powerful automation weapon, an n8n, into the heart of enemy territory, a Google Kubernetes cluster. You'll navigate firewalls, outwit misconfigured YAML files, and tame Google Cloud's labyrinthine permissions, all while racing against time and possibly latency. This stream will self-destruct in 120 minutes, or when the pods go down, grab your terminal, agent. It's go time.
Still have a lot to do, I still have to put away the chairs. But anyway, I've got all the chores. Or anyway, it's up to me to do them all. I still have to put my clothes today. All in all, reality is cats, like an alley cat at your park. But now I gotta do your part. I got a day job and a night job and an interview at 5. You've gotten rid of both boyfriends and you've given me the green light. I got a day job and a night job and an afternoon away. You just waved a hand and we're engaged, you say. I've been up since 4 a.m. and finishing this at midnight. After this thing I should sell it and call it quits when the getting's good. I took a night at your new club today to take a break away from the rats. But now I got your locker stool and your car keys in my cart. I pick up the pieces left on the floor while you walk away like you don't care no more. I'm tired of cleaning every mess you make, slowly losing patience with every break. Every promise broken never leads to change. I'm the one who's always left rearranged. Your lack of effort shows clear as the day. I'll be sweeping you out when I find my way. Hey, hey, I'm the cleanup crew, fixing your mess just like it's new. Hey, hey, won't be here long, cleaning house, I'm moving on. Watching you take credit for the work I do, every single task I pull double through. Your empty words no longer faze me. Soon enough your history, just wait and see. Where's the spark, the dedication gone? I'm carrying weight, dragging us along. No more excuses, your time is past. This sweeps your fate, I'll make it last. Hey, hey, I'm the cleanup crew, fixing your mess just like it's new. Hey, hey, won't be here long, cleaning house, I'm moving on.
We are back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully you are doing absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every last one of you. So let me throw up this 2-hour timer. We have a mission for today, and this mission is inspired by my guy who's already here in the building, Wave Nerd. We're going to be working on a new tool, software type of thing, n8n, working on getting that installed on Google Cloud Platform Kubernetes engine, all of that good stuff. So we're gonna get into that, figuring out what is n8n in the first place, and then we're gonna look into how we can install it and get into those details. All right, but before we get into that, we are going to get to our agenda. So today is Sunday, May 18th, 2025. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I am Techo Ralph. We are engineered to win, or as some friends have told me, I annoy them to success. All right, so with that being said, let's jump into our agenda really, really quick. So first and very foremost, I just have to say a big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel, those who have been with me for a very long time, those who are brand new, and they are very active, those who watch from the clouds, and those who are always present in the chat and in the comments. I appreciate every last one of you for allowing me to add just a little bit of value and entertainment into your lives. You could be anywhere else, but you are hanging out with me. So thank you so very much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Shout out to all of the Technical Drive Patreon members, my tech barbarians that I work with one-on-one, my tech project members, my technical explorers. Shout out to all of you who are putting in the work every single day, striving to get better, working together, growing together, all of that good stuff. We are the best.
We the best.
And shout out to the tech mercenaries. Those are the YouTube channel members. Shout out to you for keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you for your support so much. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
And by the way, I created a YouTube only, a YouTube members only video, which shows you if you are a YouTube member of this channel and you're on Discord. If you connect your Discord account to your YouTube account, it will put you into the Team Technical Drive Discord, and we can further the conversation. I am going to be having a conversation with Rod Brown about how he got into tech, what he does as a developer, and how he maintains doing his work and creating content at the same time. All of that good stuff. So we're going to be having a meeting / interview with Rod Brown. I think it's on the 25th. Which would be next Saturday between 2 and 4. I will post some more information about that in the Patreon and in the community post for members only. So I'm looking forward to you being there and having that conversation. So that is the plan. So if you are a channel member, make sure you link your Discord to your YouTube account so that you can join. You can be part of the Team Technical Drive Discord and take part of all of the activities. There's so much room for activities. All right. So let's continue. Upcoming shows tonight. And I guess I should, where do I have that? Tonight we have where do I have that? We have, we're going to be talking about jiu-jitsu on the Half Guard Halfie channel. Let me drop a link to that show. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about jiu-jitsu, we're going to be reviewing our competition from last week, which it was the best of times. It was the worst of times, but definitely a learning experience. If you want to come and watch that, I will drop that stream link into the chat. So that you can join us over there at 7:30 Eastern time. All right. Just drop that into the chat. So looking forward to seeing you there. Tomorrow we have large language models early in the morning. It's about 7:45, 8-ish tomorrow morning Eastern time. We're going to be continuing working through, I think we're going to be going into day 3 of the large language model course. We were able to do the Gradio. We used Gradio last week on my content creation workflow, and we used it on not the web page summarizer, but the there was another one. Whatever it was, we used Gradio, built a quick and simple UI for our AI stuff. So which kind of inspired this stream as well. So tomorrow we're going to be getting on day 3. So looking forward to seeing you there. And then tomorrow at noon Eastern time, we're going to be premiering our candid conversation where I'm going to talk about, and it might sound a little weird, but should your friends have benefits? Should you be friends with benefits? All right, get your mind out of the gutter. I'm just saying, should there be reciprocal value, reciprocal tariffs with your friendships? Should you be always looking to help each other grow? Or are we just there to sit there and look at each other and, enjoy listening to the trauma that we all have? That's my question. That is my question. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow on Candid Conversation. It's going to be really, really good. But friends with benefits? Isn't that what all friendships should be? Shouldn't all friendships have benefits? That's my question. All right, we're going to talk about that. Okay, we are going to talk about that. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to check the chat, and then we are going to get into our first segment where we're going to be talking about n8n. Also, almost forgot. If you are a content creator or looking to be a content creator, I have created a survey because I'm working on putting together an application. Basically, what I use to help me streamline. I'm telling you, this took me from going from like 20 minutes per video to create my title, my description, my keywords to like 3 minutes per video, and I'm looking to expand it to somewhat automate the thumbnails as well. So if you are a content creator looking to save time, looking to work faster, more efficiently on the things that they're important, but not as important as your content, then take the survey, and I have a special gift at the end for anyone who takes the survey. Really, really appreciate it. So that link is in the chat. It will be in the description, and I will drop the link right now as well for any content creators or aspiring content creators. All right, take the form, fill out the survey, and I need your input, I need your feedback, and we can go from there. Right. But with that being said, let's get to the chat. Let me say hi to all my friends, and then we will go from there. All right. Let's see. So oh my goodness, look who's here. Roxy, are you back from vacation? Are you back from vacation? Roxy says, hey, good afternoon, Techotrough, and everyone. Good afternoon to you as well, Roxy. Always a pleasure to have you here. We got my guy in the building. Junior says, what's up, Junior? How are you doing today? Hopefully everything is going phenomenal with you. We have in the building Michael Jenkins. What's up, Michael? Hopefully you are doing well. Michael has been a great friend and supporter for a very, very long time. Very, very knowledgeable. You guys, Michael Jenkins makes amazing content on YouTube and on LinkedIn Learning about DevOps and stuff like that. So let me see if I can find a link to Mike's Michael. I'm gonna see if I can find his YouTube page and his LinkedIn Learning page. Jenkins, LinkedIn Learning. But he makes phenomenal content. A great teacher. So let me see. Is it this one? Nope, not that. I don't know. I have to find it. Let me see. Is it here? I'll have to find. There. I think I got it. Don't think. I have to find it. I'll find it, and I will post it on my community tab because great content creator on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Oh, like so informative. And he is actually going through. I don't know if they're done with it yet, but they were doing lambdas for their reading course. Their book that they were reading about lambdas, showing how to use lambdas and stuff like that on AWS. Really, really good stuff, right? So shout out to Michael Jenkins as always. Let's see. We got Wave Nerd in the building. I'm telling you, what I'm doing today was inspired from my conversations with Wave Nerd, always talking about MCP and n8n and Lovable. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's take a look. So I started going down the rabbit hole. And I'm like, oh, we can what would be an amazing project today to install the local version of n8n onto our Kubernetes cluster and see how that goes, right? So it's going to be a learning experience. Let's see. Anything else? Roxy says, appreciate you too, Tech Coach Ralph. Thank you so, so much, Roxy. That means the world to me. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. It says, is the Tech Coach Ralph after hours? No. I'm telling you, like, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. All right. It says he is going down that road. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Roxy says therapist Tech Coach Ralph. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure I have a line in that video says, I am not a therapist. I'm just saying. Oh my goodness. Guess who it is? It's J-Lo on the track in the building. What's up, J-Lo on the track? How are you doing? So happy to see you here. And I'm telling you, J-Lo on the track also makes amazing, from what I've seen, mainly basketball highlight videos, from an amazing angle, like in front at the baseline under the basket. Great videos all around. So shout out to JLo on the track. We got Rod Brown in the building. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me take that back. The man formerly known as Rod Brown used to be with 2 Ds. Now then he changed it to just 1D, Rod Brown with 1D, right? And now it's just Rod. It is just Rod. What's up, Just Rod? How are you doing? Hopefully everything is going well with you. Nope, Roxy. Nope. It's not Rod Brown. It is just Rod. It's just Rod now, right? It's just Rod, okay? Let's see. Wave Nerd says yes. Friends with benefits is what Power Rangers of Voltron is. Says each is powerful on their own with their superpowers, but together we're as powerful as a Swiss Army knife that can tackle any problem. Wave Nerd gets it. Let's see. It says, I wonder why you are not a therapist. Trust me, I do not get paid enough to be a therapist. Jade on the track says, I'm good. How are you? I am doing phenomenal. And when I see my friends show up, it just makes me that much more better. Robert says, oh my God, you are out of control. I am just giving historical reference of who you are, because look, somebody might have been here a while back and they saw Rod Brown with 2Ds and they're like, oh, okay. And then they see Rod Brown with 1D. You're like, okay, is this a different Rod Brown? No, this is the same Rod Brown. And then all of a sudden, some people, they level up and they get too good to have to be Rod Brown. It's just Rod. It is just Rod. Look, I am looking to be on that level one day. Right now, I have 3 names, right? I have 3. Tech Coach Ralph used to be Rod Brown with 2Ds. Now Rod Brown. Now it's just Rod.
Ain't believing us.
That's how you know you've made it. That is how you know that you have made it. All right. I'm just saying. See, just Rod. When did that happen? I would like to know as well, Roxy. I would like to know when did it become just Rod? Right. It used to be. I don't know what happened, Roxy. Just the other day, 2 streams ago, it was like last stream it was Rod Brown. Now it's just Rod. It is just Rod. Gotta get on Rod's level. All right. Anyways, enough fun and games. Let's get to our first segment of work. So, like I said, we're going to be installing n8n on Google Cloud Platform Kubernetes engine. And to get started, we're going to be reading about what n8n is. Is there like a word to say? Because I feel absolutely ridiculous keep saying n8n. Is there like a pronunciation on how, like, because you know how with Kubernetes they'll put like K8. Is there like a pronunciation for it? I don't know. Anyways. But n8n on Google Cloud Platform. I have already started up the cluster so we don't have to wait forever. It took like 6 minutes to get it started, but that started. Let's start our first 20-minute timer.
It's time to
And we are going to go over to the browser. And we're going to read a little bit about what n8n is. So basically, this is so what we're doing today is DevOps. So here's a scenario, right? Let's say you work for a company and they say to you, who's in DevOps, look, hey, Techotrof, we need to, we got this new software that we're going to be using for AI to automate our workflows. And we need to install this application, n8n, here. And from what we saw, you can install it for the enterprise, and you can do it using Kubernetes. We don't want to pay a subscription for each user. So can we install this? On our cloud platform? All right. And so now I come to the website. I'm all right. What is this? How does this work? What we're going to do is let's go to product overview, and think it, build it, extend it. So simple enough to ship in hours, sophisticated enough to scale. n8n lets you automate business processes without limits to on your logic. All right. So basically, it is like a workflow orchestrator where you're saying when something happens, I need to do X, Y, and Z. They have connectors for OpenAI. They have connectors for Google, for Anthropic. I haven't checked Perplexity, but the OpenAI, maybe it's possible that the OpenAI, which is what's used for Perplexity, could integrate with it. I'm not 100% sure yet, but basically it is a workflow builder. I even saw they had some connectors for 11 Labs, so many different things that you can do with it. So let's see, visual building, leading visual editor for fast iteration where you see results instantly, blah, 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 blah. Right. So I'll drop the link to this in the chat in case anybody wants to read more on it. I know that if you use their hosted version, they give you like a 14-day trial and you can go from there. But because today's DevOps day, we are going to be working on installing it ourselves. So I was playing with it over the weekend. I created this. This isn't working, but I was just like dragging stuff onto the screen, onto the canvas. I have the OpenAI. I have like something to say. All right, if it's OpenAI, go to here. If it's something else, go to Gemini. Just playing around with it, but nothing serious, nothing extensive yet. But today, like I said, we want to install it in our own environment because I don't want to have to pay for this if I can install it myself. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be which is a better price, right? Is hosting it myself. If I can have additional people using it, what's the cost? It's going to be a cost benefit analysis, working with a team and stuff like that. But now let's get into the documentation. So this is the docs for n8n. And it's a fair code license, which we'll look into it probably in one of our breaks, or maybe I'll make a video about it. What is fair code license? Because I had never heard of fair code license. So while the code is semi open source, you can't just use it for whatever you want. But documentation for n8n, a fair code license workflow automation tool that combines AI capabilities with business process automation. It covers everything from setup to usage and development. It's a work in progress and all contributions are welcome. So and let's take a look at, so we're going to self-install. I want to go to, let's see. Let's take a look at the quick start real quick. The best way to learn n8n is by using our tutorials to get familiar with the user interface and many different types of nodes and integrations available. Here is a selection of material to get you started. So maybe we'll do in the mornings, we'll use this a bit because you can install it with Docker locally as well. So we'll take a look at that. But pair it with learning with the course that we're going through. This is going to be really, really helpful, important to build our own workflows and to help us go faster, right? People are always afraid that AI is going to take your job. I say embrace AI, use it to make you more efficient. All right. Let's jump into installation. So you can do the cloud. That's where you paying them. They're hosting it for you. You can do the self host recommended method for production or customized use cases. You can install it via npm, Docker. There's server setup guides. We will we'll probably use Docker to learn it, so we have it running locally based on how much resources that it uses on the computer. But they do have the server setup guides, which is what we're going to be using today. You can also install it with Node Package Manager. I prefer using Docker. If I was customizing their application, I would probably use npm to like quickly spin it back up, but I'm not looking to do that right now. And then there's something embed. n8n embed allows you to white label n8n and build it into your own product. Contact n8n on the embed website for pricing and support. Interesting. So you can actually use their, and this is probably where the fair what do they call it, fair license, whatever they call it, the fair something, right? It's not fair, what do they call it? It was fair code. So that's probably where the fair code comes in about white labeling it and figuring out. So that'll be interesting to figure out, like how does the pricing work for that. But cool stuff, right? Let's go to the server setup guides, because that's the one that we want to do. It can be installed with Docker Compose on DigitalOcean, Heroku, Hetzner Cloud. I never heard of this one. Or we can do it on Kubernetes on AWS, on Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. Because we are already set up with Google Cloud Platforms, we will do that. We'll use Google Cloud Platform, and Docker Compose will be to do it locally. All right. So let's click on Google Cloud Platform. We're going to be doing it with Kubernetes, and we already have the prerequisites G-Cloud command line tool. We already have that taken care of. The GKE Cloud, G-Cloud auth plugin. I believe we have that as well. Hosting options. Google Cloud offers several options suitable for hosting n8, including Cloud Run, optimized for running containers. We have tried Cloud Run in the past when we were working with Docker, which if it's cheap enough, we probably go with that one, because I know Kubernetes is kind of pricey. Compute engines, virtual machines, that's going to be pricey. And Kubernetes engine containers running with Kubernetes, that's pricey too. So I would probably say let's look into at some point doing it with the Cloud Run to see how much that costs. Let it run for a week and see. I know when I had Kubernetes running for like a week, it cost me it was like $12, which it's kind of pricey, to be honest with you. But if we could do Cloud Run, if Cloud Run is cheaper, I'd definitely go with that. The guide uses Google Kubernetes Engine as a hosting option. Using Kubernetes requires some additional complexity and configuration, but is the best method for scaling n8n as demand changes. That is true. That is true. Most of the steps in this guide use the Google Cloud UI, but you can also use the G-Cloud command line tool instead to undertake all of the steps, right? We'll figure that out as we go along to see which one we'll end up using, but I do have the cluster started up with Terraform, all right? Let's see. So GCP encourages you to create projects to logically organize your resources and configuration. Create a new project for your n8n deployment from your Google. So we have that taken care of. We have I'm using the Urban Dictionary of Economic Data dictionary, just because I don't want to go through creating a new project and all that stuff. GKE is enabled by default. Let's see. So we already have that taken care of. We already have our cluster created. Set the kubectl context. The rest of the step is in this guide. Requires you to set the GCP instance as a kubectl. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna go to this other screen for now, and I am going to open up a terminal somewhere. Let's see. Just do a new one. And we will go to here, and we will go to, let's do, all right, we're gonna, let me see, let's say G Cloud, and we're going to say containers. container, clusters, and we're going to go to get credentials, and we're going to say get credentials, and we will say GKE or UDEC GKE cluster, and then we would do, is it location? Equals US East 1. I can never remember that. If that doesn't work, then we will look it up. There we go. Yeah, we got it. So we have a cube config entry generated for UDEC. All right, perfect. How did I remember it? I don't know, because I only do this Kubernetes stuff once a week. All right, but we got it. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is, let's go back over here. So clone configuration repository. Kubernetes and n8n requires a series of configuration files. You can clone these from this repository locally. The following steps explain the file configuration and how to add your information. So we are going to, I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to clone this via the IDE. What is GCP? Oh, they're doing it with a branch GCP. Well, we can do it that way. Let's just copy this. And we're going to go to, in here, CD, no, it's going to go CD, and we're going to go to WebStorm projects, and we're going to say git clone. And guess what? I never knew that on a clone, you can just add this -b for branch and have it automatically check out this branch right here. I did not know that. Let's do it, right? And the cloning is done. And I'm going to say git branch. Let's see what branch I'm on. It's not a git repository. Oh, CD n. Oops. Let's go to, let's clear that out. CD n8n Kubernetes hosting. Go to that, and I'm going to do git branch. And look at that. I am on the GCP branch. I didn't know you could do that. I did not know you could do that. All right. So with that being said, let's continue on with our instructions. And if we get it installed, then we can try to play around with it as well. Let me zoom in here. All right. So next up, configure Postgres for larger scale n8n deployments. Postgres provides a more robust database backend than SQLite. So we'll give it a try with Postgres. Create a volume for persistent storage to maintain data between pod restarts. The Postgres deployment needs a persistent volume. Running Postgres on GCP requires a specific Kubernetes cluster or storage class. You can read this guide for specifics, but the storage YAML manifest creates it for you. You may want to change the regions to create the storage under the allowed topologies. Match label expressions value key. By default, they're US Central. So we're going to change it to US East 1. All right, so let's do this. We're going to go into our IDE, and we're going to say File, and we're going to say Open Sesame, and we're going to go to n8n. We're going to go Open, and we're going to say Trust Project, New Window. And let me move that over here. And we are going to open up the storage YAML, as they mentioned. And like I said, by default, it is in US Central 1. I'm going to change that to East 1 and East 1. And let's do a quick little research. Let's go to GCP US East 1 regions. Let's look at regions and zones. Is there a list of? All right, so let's go to US East 1. And there's there's B and C. So we'll go with US East 1, B and C. All right, cool. So we got that. Let's go back over here and what's the next step in our installation? They say, all right, so actually let's go back over here. All right, so Postgres environment variables. Postgres needs some environment variables set to pass to the application running the container. The example Postgres secrets YAML file contains placeholders you need to replace with your own values. Postgres will use these details when creating the database. The Postgres deployment YAML manifest then uses the value from the manifest file to send to the application pods. Configure n8n. While not essential for running n8n, using persistent volume is required for using nodes that interact with files, such as binary data nodes. If you want to persist manual n8n encryption keys between restarts, this saves a file containing the keys into a storage file during startup. The n8n claim, persistent volume claim, YAML manifest creates this, and the n8n deployment mounts that claim in the volume section to the n8n deployment YAML file. All right. Pod resources, Kubernetes lets you optionally identify or optionally specify the minimum resource application container need and the limits they can run. The example YAML files cloned above contains the following in the resources section of the n8n deployment YAML. Let's see. So optional environment variables. You can configure the n8n settings and behavior using environment variables. Create an n8n secret YAML. Refer to environment variables for n8n environment variables details. The two deployment manifests, n8n deployment and Postgres deployment, define the n8n and Postgres application to Kubernetes. The manifest defines the following. Send environment variables defined to each application pod. Define the container image to use. Set the resource consumption limit with the resources object. The volume defined earlier, and the volume mounts to define the path in the container to mount. Scaling and restart policies, the example manifest. All right, so we got that. Services, the two service manifest, Postgres service and n8n service. Exposes the service to the outside world by using Kubernetes load balancing. Port 5432 and 5678. To send to Kubernetes cluster, you just do so. All right, so so after reading all of that, right? So all we have to do to get all this up and running is kubectl apply files and just a dot, and this is going to apply for all the files that we have in there, as opposed to doing it one by one like we've done in the past. All right, first let's do the deployment file, then let's do the resource file, then let's do this, or not resource, then we do the service, and we do all of these. We should say kubectl apply -f for the files and everything in the directory, and let it have at it, right? You may see an error about not finding n8n namespace as the resource isn't ready. You can run the same command again and apply the namespace manifest first with the following command, all right? And then it talks about setting up DNS afterwards. Create a DNS record with your provider for the subdomain and point it to the IP address of the n8n service. Find the IP address of the n8n service from the services and ingress menu item of the cluster you want to use under the endpoints, right? So we'll check that out later. But with that being said, let's just run where is my terminal? So in here, we're going to do kubectl, right? And we are going to say -f, right? Or apply, sorry, not -f, kubectl, apply -f, and then dot for everything in this folder. So he's going to apply all of these files, the Postgres services, Postgres. Actually, no, I'm supposed to change the secret file, wasn't I? So I'll just go with techcode and we will go with TCR 2025 23, right? As do 233. And then for the, let's go with techcode_admin, and we'll for here for the non-root user techcode, let's go with admin here, and we'll go with this password right here. All right, so I mean, just throwing something together. And now we can actually do this kubectl apply -f dot
Lunch break.
and see what happens. Well, I'm gonna press enter. We're gonna go to break and see what happens after the fact. I have absolutely no idea what's gonna happen. Okay, so when we return, we will do the drum roll and see if it worked or if it was a major failure. Let's run it. And now that it's on its way, is it going? Yep, now that it's on its way, let's go to break. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat, and then we shall get to our first break time topic. All right, so first and foremost, thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate it. And shout out to all the people who are watching on X. We have a nice little audience on X today, so shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and for supporting the channel. Really appreciate you. Shout out to everybody who's watching on YouTube and everyone who is watching on Twitch. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. All right, so let's see who we have in the building. Let's see. We have Mitch in the building, says, don't spam the chat. I mean, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? I'm just saying. I am just saying.
Bruh.
Rod Brown says the person who spams the chat with leak. Let's see. Mitch says it was a joke, weirdo, because it's dumb. Wait, what? What you calling dumb? What are you calling dumb? I'm gonna have to. Okay. All right. We shall see. Let's see. Roxy says Mitch is always looking for a hug. Aw, that's so sweet. Let's see. Magnus says judgment. I tried to do an echo. Didn't work out too well. Let's see. What's up, Magnetar? How are you doing? Hopefully everything is doing phenomenal. Shout out to Magnetar for giving us that amazing federal walkthrough in the Tech Coach Off Patreon. Shout out to you. Let's see. Magnetar is hungry. That's funny. Let's see. Magnetar says, oh, great. Who are you and why are you posing as Roxy? Oh my goodness. I mean, to be fair, Magnetar, Roxy was on a well-deserved vacation. Probably got relaxed and everything like that. So it makes sense. All right. Magnetar says, Sith Coach Ralph.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Funny enough, Magnetar. So yesterday, I'm on this coaching call, and we're learning about. So the person I'm coaching, they're learning about APIs and stuff like that. So we're going through the course, and I'm answering questions about APIs and stuff. And they used the Star Wars. What do you call it? Star Wars API, where you can get information about the Star Wars movies, how many of them were there, the characters, and you can query and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. That reminded me of you, Magnetar, the Star Wars API. All right. So with that being said, let's get to our very first break time discussion. So we're gonna be talking about. So last week on Thursday, Don sent us a link to an article that he wrote about vibe coding with intent. Is that even possible? Well, let's find out from this article that Don wrote. You guys know Don. I've known Don for almost 2 years now. So smart, so talented. What a great and a great supporter and friend. All right. So let's jump over to this article and let's read it together. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock and then we shall go from there, right? So let's go to here. And it says, vibe coding with intent, a tester's perspective. So Don is in quality assurance for a very, very long time, but he does so much more than that, all right? Because there's a lot, let me zoom in on this a bit. It says where are we? So there's a lot of noise right now all around vibe coding. And as Rod, I almost said Rod wrong, as Rod would say, it's a vibe, right? People are generating entire apps off vibes. Every time I say vibes, I'm going to say vibes. Using large language models to go from idea to code in minutes. And I'll admit, it's impressive. But having been in testing for over 20 years, I couldn't help but notice something was missing. The energy. You know, you have to have good energy. The energy is real. The speed is addictive, but the stability, the reliability, often nowhere to be found. That's where I come in. I, meaning Don, and probably me too, because I've been testing. I'm telling you, me and Don are like brothers. Says, who am I? I've been a tester most of my life. My job has always been to make sure products deliver on their promise, and not just in ideal demos, but in real world uses. Okay. I've seen every testing angle: automation, exploratory, performance, security, chaos. And when vibe, it's a vibe, coding entered the chat, I was curious. I started building with it. I started testing it. And I started breaking it easily.
Bruh.
The problem with raw vibes. Vibe coding is missing a backbone. Where is your backbone? It's missing intention. You know what, Don, you get one of these. Don.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
How dare you say something about vibes? But it says the AI can generate, but can it validate? Can it correct itself? Can it know where it's broken? All right. Not unless we give it the tools to do so. So how did I make it work? That's where my tester mindset kicked in. I created a project called Vibe to Do to prove that vibe coding can be viable if it's guided by structure and by testing. Here's what made the difference. Hypothesis tests as self-correction checkpoints. A windsurf rules file that tells the AI how to behave. Benchmark with SLA enforcement, 10 milliseconds max per op. Logs that are structured for large language models to observe and react. A grammatical evolution engine that generates edge cases dynamically. Yes, I even wired in a GE-based evolutionary testing suite using DEAP to evolve inputs over time. This thing will literally mutate payloads to find failures. Your unit test missed. Whoa, wowzers! That is serious stuff, Don. That is serious stuff. And just like that, large language models code went from vibes to validated. There we go. Real talk. It's about to get serious right now. Real talk. What happens without tests? Let me give you an example. The large language model once generated a beautiful CRUD API, looked perfect, looked fascinating. It was absolutely amazing until I ran it.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Post requests without empty strings didn't trigger validation. Worse, no unit test existed to catch it. I only saw the issue when the hypothesis test started failing, and failing fast they did. This wasn't an edge case. It was a gap. Without testing, large language models hallucinate correctness. Oh, hallucinations, they must be on them shrooms. systems. All right. It says structured logs equals where is Miss Freckles when I need her? Observability for large language models. I output structured JSON logs.
Get a move on,
with
back to work, chop, chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
when I'm finished, right? We will not rush Don's article, okay? I output structured JSON logs with every operation. So there goes an example of these JSON logs. Everything that happens, it gets a JSON log, right? This lets Windsurf agents watch the output, check service level agreements, compliance, and even suggest fixes based on the violation pattern. It's like putting Grafana in your large language model's head. If you guys are not familiar with Grafana, we actually use Grafana, when did we use it? Like 2 years ago for cybersecurity stuff. Really, really cool, all right? What every Vibe coder should add. You don't need 20 years of testing experience to strengthen your vibes. Start here. Minimal testing manifesto. So the .windsurf rules your AI coding contract, hypothesis test for behavior validation, regression test for known fail states, benchmark test with service level agreement enforcement, grammatical evolution for fuzzing plus edge discovery, structured logs for agent feedback. Wave Nerd, I'm going to drop this article in the chat. I'll email it to you as well, but this is amazing, amazing information. Because if you're doing even half of this, you're ahead of the game. Now, here is Don's ask to the community, right? This is what he's asking. Don't abandon vibe coding. Just add intent. Make your vibes testable. Add rules, use benchmarks, think like a tester. Look, Don. I have to say this, right? If you're adding rules and benchmarks and SLAs and making all this structured stuff, then where are the vibes? Rod Brown, as an engineer, Rod Brown, as a software developer, is this article killing your vibe? I think Don is killing our vibe. I think Don is killing our vibe. I'm just kidding, right? It says, and then let the large language model earn that green check mark. In closing, I've tested software for decades. I can tell you this. Code that feels good isn't always good. I'm telling you, what a vibe killer. What a vibes killer. Says, but code that's structured, tested, benchmark, and still feels good? Well, I'm telling you, it might feel good, but that code is not vibing. It is not vibing, right? That's the future. Vibe coding doesn't need to be risky. It can be resilient. But if it's not risky, then where are the vibes? Where are the vibes if it's not risky? I mean, it might be great, accurate, helpful, make you a lot of money code, right? It might make you billions of dollars. But what about the vibes? What about the vibes? Isn't it all about the vibes? Isn't it all about the vibes? It can be with intent. All right, if you have intent, does intent take away vibes? That's that might be a good topic of conversation. Does intent take away vibes? Because I know some people, it's like they're intentional, but then where are the vibes? But then if you just have the vibes, is there any intent? I don't know. That's a good thing to ask. Built with vibes, verified by tests, ready for prod. Shout out to my guy, Don. Amazing article, all right? That was great. Let me drop it in the chat for anyone who is interested in reading that and checking out his what did he call it? Something to do. Is it called Vibes to Do? What's it that? The name of the repo was Vibe to Do, right? It's kind of like in conflict. How can I have a to-do list if I'm just living off the vibes, But it is what it is. Here is a link to the article. Check it out. I'm just kind of say Vibing with Intent by Don Johnson. Sounds a bit contradictory, right? But it is what it is. Check it out. Give Don some feedback. Leave him a comment. Subscribe to his dev.to page as well. All right. But let me check the chat one more time, and then we will get to our next 20-minute segment of setting up n8m. All right. Let me see. Where are we now? Let's see. Wave Nerd is checking. He's like, oh, let's see what this has to say. And Rod says, Rod says, I'm learning how to vibe code, and it says because of the vibes. Don't kill my vibe. All right. But yeah, that's about it. All right, let's get back. Let's get back to our next working segment. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Right.
Let's go! Let's go!
Let's see what the results of our apply was. And it failed. However, it failed because of the namespace file. So as they said, all right, so let's take a look. It says allow topologies, use topology.kubernetes instead, storage class. So all right, so let's see what's created. The Postgres was created, the init data was created, Postgres was deployment. So the namespace was created, the persistent volume was created, config deployment app Postgres was created, secret Postgres secret was created, the Postgres service was created. However, the n8n claim persistent volume, YAML namespace n8n not found. All right, so we have to apply that again because now that the n8n is done. So we apply that again, and then error from server. So all right, so the namespace wasn't created. So let's create that name. So let's do the. So now the namespace is created, right? So I think we could. Let me see. What did the documentation say for that? They said if the. Let's go over here. Because you may see an error about that resource isn't ready yet. You can run the same command again or apply the namespace manifest first with the following command. All right, so all we have to do is do the kubectl apply -f and then dot, and it should just redo it over again. Let's see. So all right, so the deployment is created, service is created, namespace is unchanged, the persistent volume is unchanged, the config map is unchanged, Postgres is unchanged, the secret is configured, the Postgres is unchanged, and the storage thingy is unchanged. Right. So this should be up and running now. So let me get some water first. So let's go and switch over to the other screen. And cool. What? Okay. Just looking at some appointments that are coming through. All right. Let's go over to Cloud Console. So, all right, go to Kubernetes. We're going to go in here and we're going to go to Kubernetes engine. So, you're on clusters. All right. We have our cluster, which is up and running. Let's go into that. Let's see if we have. So there goes the public endpoint right here. So what happens if we go to this IP address, right? Let's see. Let's see what is going to happen. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. All right. So let's do this. Let's go back to. Actually, no. Let's do this. Let's go back. So let's do some of our. Don't get too excited. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's do kubectl get services. Get services. Let's do that. Why is it kubectl? That's not right. second. Why is it showing that? Get services. Oops, typo. Get deployments. Hold on a second. Let me try that. G Cloud container. I don't know. I have to do it again. I didn't do anything that would stop it. Clusters GKE or UDEC dash GKE dash cluster, and we will do dash location US East 1 clusters. Wait, did you mean G-Cloud container? No, clusters? Did I make a typo? G-Cloud container clusters. Invalid choice. G. Oh, all right. We're gonna do get credentials. Did you mean location? So 2 of these. All right, so that's configured. So now if we do cube CTL get services, what? Are these up and running or not? All right, so let's go back over here. Let's go to here. What do we got running in here? Let's go to workloads. So we have n8n and we have Postgres. Let's go to n8n. All right, so it's on this. All right, so load balanced on here. Let's go here. Let's close this one. All right, so your n8n is configured to use a secure cookie. However, you're either visiting via an insecure URL or using Safari. To fix this, please consider setup. All right. If you prefer to disable security feature, not recommended. Set the environment variable to. All right, so can I just do https://? No. Because, all right, well, I think we could do, all right, let's go to the service over here. I think we can turn off the, let me see, load balancer. Let's go. n8n typically operates on a subdomain. Create a DNS record with your provider for the subdomain and point it to the IP address of the n8n service. Find the IP address of the n8n service from the service ingress menu item under the endpoint. So for now, all right, for what I'm going to do for now, I'm just going to turn this off just so we can see it working, and then later on we will, like when we're actually going to use it for real, then we will make sure all the necessary configurations are done. All right, so this is going to be inside of the security feature. What security feature? Let's go to. Let's see SSL policies before we do that. SSL controls how load balancers negotiate with SSL clients. So let's look at over here real quick. So I'm looking at SSL policies. You can create policies for closer control over SSL, but they won't be applied until you attach them to an HTTPS or SSL load balancer. Load balancing. Let's see, edit. Is there any? Let's do how to set up SSL load balancer on GCP. To set up SSL load balancer, you need to create a load balancer, configure a front end with HTTPS protocol and SSL certificate, and then configure the backend. You can either use Google Managed SSL certs or self-managed certs. Let's see. Configure the front end protocol. Select HTTPS for the protocol. So we would have to I'd rather turn it off. I'd rather like not. I don't want to go into the whole SSL type stuff right now. So if it was something that was like super simple to do, I would just go with SSL for now. However, we would end up having to do a bunch of additional work, which I don't want to do right now. So we will look into how to turn n8n to false. To disable the secure cookie, you can set the environment variable n8n secure cookie to false. This can be done through various methods, including command line argument, environment files, or Docker configuration. So this is Docker Compose. Where is it in Kubernetes? Let's see. Modifying the deployment.yaml file. Find the n8n secure cookie environment variable. Say it's a file. All right. So let's go and look for this n8n service. Not the service one. Deployment YAML. And let's see if they have the n8n. Oops. n8n secure. So it's not there. So they said we would add it as an environment variable to the let's see. So if we're looking here, so here we would say the container name is n8n, or the image. Hold on 1 second. Containers. Image. So would it be here? I guess it would be here under environment. So we would say name, and that would be n8n secure cookie. And then we would say value false. All right, so if we go back to our terminal, we say kubectl apply -f. Let me just do dot again. And the only thing, wait, invalid value. The deployment n8n is invalid spec template container environment 6 value from invalid value. All right, hold on. So, oh, okay. So this, I messed up. All right. So this one goes with this one. So we need to here pass this. All right. So the n8n secure. All right. So let's do that. And let's go to, let me clear this out. Let's do kube apply. And we should have had our deployment configured. All right. So let's go back to here. And let's refresh. Let's see. Let's go over here. Let's go back to let's try that again. So now it can't be reached. It says connection is refused. Why is that? So everything is running. Why is our connection refused? Let's go to logs. 53. Oh, they're going down. All right. So there's, all right, so initializing n8n. Okay, now it's accessible. So let's refresh now. What? Wavener, do you see that? How you like them apples? How you like them apples? So we have n8n running on our own Kubernetes cluster. Let's go ahead and let's see what happens if I do this, right? Let's go here and no. Let's go with that. Let's go to next. Okay. Let's go with that. And let's say, and this is like this so far. This is exactly like the way I signed up for it, where you have to fill out this information. Let's see. Let's see. Oops. Get paid features for free. Receive a free activation key. Let's see. Let's skip this for now. So basically, we have our environment here set up.
Lunch
Ready to
break.
go.
Lunch break.
Ready to go. I guess we can play around with it a bit. Maybe now that we have it set up, we'll take a quick look, and then I will see what it takes to get it set up with Terraform. Not Terraform. With what do you call it? With Docker. Maybe I'll do a local Docker setup to see how heavy it is on the computer, because that'll decide like where I use it. But this would be definitely really cool if you are working with your own internal team, and then you can assign users that way, as opposed to whatever the way like the paid option would cost. So I don't know. It's something to look into. I think this might be very useful. All right, but let's go to break. All right, so we're at break. We have set up the hosting for our n8n on Google Kubernetes platform. It's accessible. We didn't do the domain setup yet, because this is really a throwaway that we're doing right now, just to see if we are able to install it. We're going to play around with it just a bit, but I'm also going to do a Docker setup as well, just so we can also see the option of having it installed locally as you are experimenting with it and trying different things out. All right. Let's continue. So we're at break. Let me check the chat, and then we will have our second break time topic before we get back to our last working segment. All right. Let me see. Wave Nerd says that this is fire.
Let's get it.
All right. But for our second break, let's look at this article about some people are not going to like this one. Some people are not going to like it. They are not going to believe it either. All right. But let's go here. Are remote workers happier? Are they happier at work? It's a good question. Let's see what they have to say about that. We're going to go over to here. So this article says, this is by QZ.com, and this is based off a Gallup poll. It says remote workers are happier at work, surveys say, but unhappier at home. That is pretty interesting, right? So remote work. So here's a question though, right? Here's a question. Are on-site workers happier at home, but unhappier in the office? Because sometimes you just can't make people happy. Sometimes you just can't make people happy, It says, a Gallup survey shows a mixed bag for remote workers. I think it's unfair. Because no one is ever happy. There's people will always have a gripe about something. Let me throw up 5 minutes on this one. I don't want to spend too much time, but let's read. It says, according to a new Gallup study, employee engagement is down. And Gallup isn't referring to office romances. Whoa. You guys, we're talking about TCR after hours. No, this is Gallup after hours. But instead, the holistic factor that contribute to an employee's involvement in the enterprise.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Globally, the report notes fully remote workers are the most likely to be engaged at work, 31%, compared with hybrid, 23%, and on-site remote capable, 23%. So let me read that. Globally, the report notes fully remote workers are the most likely to be engaged at work. So do they mean working remote, but but just working while remote? Is that what they're saying? But hybrid workers are 23% to be engaged at work, and on-site remote capable is 23%. And on-site non-remote capable is 19%. Is that what they're saying? So wait, what is? Let me read the title again. It says, but unhappy. So they're. Oh, I think I get it. So they are happier. So remote workers are happier when they are actually working, but they are unhappy about their home life. I think I got it now. I think I got it. Okay, I think I got it. I think I'm picking up on it. So now here's the question. If you are a remote worker, are you happy working like at home remotely, but are you unhappy with your home life? I think that's what they're saying here, right? That's according to the latest State of the Global Workplace report, which tracks how employees worldwide are doing in their work and lives. The report unearths a paradox because while remote workers are more engaged in their overall well-being, their overall well-being is lagging. Hybrid and on-site workers who have the option to go remote reported to thrive more than their fully remote counterparts. They're talking about off of work, I guess. However, fully on-site workers with no remote option were the least thriving of the group.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Which points to the complexity of what creates a feeling of thriving. Clark Lowe, president of the home construction company, the O'Connor Group, tells Quartz that remote work isn't failing. Leadership is. That's hard. That's okay. That's how you really feel. That's the simplest way I can explain the Gallup findings. When done right, remote work gives people the autonomy they need to stay focused and productive. But autonomy without structure. That sounds like what Don was talking about. The vibes without structure, they are just unstructured vibes. All right, I'm just saying. That's a fast track to burnout and disconnection. Lowe said, adding that he has seen high engagement from remote teams because they're empowered to work when they are at their best. But it takes intentional leadership to support well-being. Okay, can I zoom a little bit more? Okay, there we go. What is this thing over here? How can I get rid of it? How can I get rid of this? Inspect. Let's do a little bit of hacking real quick. Let me get rid of you. Let's get rid of that. Boom, gone. Disappeared. All right. So says all right. So we saw that. It says all right, we are here. So, but it takes intentional leadership to support well-being, regular check-ins, clear goals, and building a culture where people feel seen even when they're not in the office, Lowe said. He also observed that hybrid work is often messier than fully remote. If expectations aren't clear, it breeds resentment, especially across generational lines. Some feel chained to a desk. Others feel forgotten at home.
Ain't believing us.
Laura Murphy, president of Bolt PR and mom of 2 teens, said the most important.
Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
Said the most important part of working from home is intentional flexibility. The airy freedom to step away if your child has a holiday sing-along, preschool event, those ongoing orthodontics appointments, and your furry friends is begging for their afternoon walk. Murphy cited as benefits, we could easily fill our calendars with those, and it's important to balance both home and work priorities. I get it. So here's my question about balancing that home and work priority. So let's say you have that that holiday sing-along preschool event or that ongoing orthodontics appointment, right? Are you willing to say, you know what, my work isn't done yet. I'm going to maybe work around 6 p.m. till I get whatever I need done, or is that going to be pushed off to the following day? I mean, back in the days when people were working, quote unquote, a 9 to 5, they would show up at 9 and then at 5 they were out, and there wasn't any remote access, so you had to get your work done while you were at work. So it is just a question. Just don't say this to me.
How dare you?
I'm just asking a question. All right. Is that it? Is that okay, let's keep going. So the last week, wait, no. This is okay, so it says, I guess that's it for this article. Let me see. Is that it? I guess that is it for this article. What a terrible way to finish an article. I thought there was more. Anyways, whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let me know in the comments. Are remote workers happier at work? And they are unhappy with their home life situation. Do you dedicate more time to the job when you're working remotely? Or what do you think? Would you prefer hybrid? Would you prefer like being close and having the option to come in 3 days a week? What are your thoughts? Let's get to the chat. All right. So let's see. So Wavener says, this is a very happy day for me. AI agent army is on the way. I'm telling you, Wavener, I gotta bring in Don. Trust me. You're talking about the Power Rangers earlier. You'll see the real Power Rangers, the AI Rangers. Magner says nope. It said about the work. So Magnar, with that added context, what do you think? Right? Do remote workers have are they more engaged with the work that they're doing from home? But does that take a toll on their home life? I'll share my thoughts in a little bit, right? Let me finish reading this. It says, that's class 10. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 5, not 8, not 9, but class 10. BS. Tell us how you really feel, Magnus. Tell us how you really feel. And Magnus says, sounds like propaganda. Let's see. Magnus does not find this article entertaining or exciting. He's just yawning right in the middle of. You know what, I have a question for you, Magnetar.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
I tell you. Let's see. Junior says, did you just remove the? I did remove the ad because it was annoying the hell out of me. It was all up in my space. It was killing. It was killing my vibes. I'm just saying. Had to get it up and out of there. Let's see. Magner says, I have. I'm not sure what that answer was to. It says, from what I've seen, people were more likely to work longer and not worry about overtime pay when they worked from home / remotely. I kind of agree with you. I agree with you. But based on what the article is saying, though, is because of that, because they were more likely to work longer and not worry about the overtime pay. Although I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works in the government. Like, if you do they have job basis salaried employees who don't get overtime pay if you work more than 40 hours, or do all government employees are like not entitled, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like, would they receive overtime pay if they work more than 40? I don't know how it works in the government. Let me know, Magnetar. But I think the question is, though, if you're working remotely and you have to work longer because you need to get the job done, does that affect the happiness that you have at home because you're working longer hours at home because you are more engaged into the work? Because the way that I've seen it in the past is when I work from home, I don't have to pack up my stuff, get in the car, drive 45 minutes to an hour to get home. And so like if I have to do that, by the time I get home, I'm like, I'm not pulling out my laptop and doing more stuff if I have a laptop. But when I'm working from home, I'm working remotely, I can easily go an extra hour or two if I really want to get what I need done. So the way that I combat that now is at like if I stop working around 5:30, at 6 p.m. I have to start getting ready to go somewhere to do something else, whether it's a live stream, whether it's go to jiu-jitsu. So it kind of forces me to disconnect from thinking about work to get ready to go to what I call my next job, right? So I'm curious. Let's see. Rod, not Rod Brown, but just Rod says, some people can't function properly working remotely. That is an absolute fact, Rod Brown. Not, although Magnus might come after you, that it's not everyone, but there's a good amount of people that without the proper supervision, they will run a muck.
Bruh.
Magnetar says, meanwhile, if they were back in the office, they aren't staying a minute longer without overtime payment. I hear that. Magnetar says, no, it didn't. Okay, all right. There we go. I was just asking. It's a question. Let's see. Ask the ad.
How dare you?
I was profusely annoyed by the ad. All up in my space. And Magnetar says, all salary-based employees get OT. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, well, you know what that means. It means that we have one last segment of work for today. And what we'll do is we will play around with, well, let's do this. We're going to do it like this. We're going to install with Docker Compose. And then we will play around with the n8n so we can see a little bit about what it is, get some ideas. But it'll probably be for a different stream where we'll be focusing on a different show where we'll be focusing on how to use it, what it is. But I would highly encourage the way that Wave Nerd encouraged me to look into it. I encourage you to look into n8n, as well as the model context protocol, AI agents, all that type of stuff, because it can help you a lot. All right. Let me read what Magnetar just wrote before we get to our last segment of work. Magnetar says, add to the happiness question, let's just say they're angrier now. When the remote work was done, they go straight to their children, kung fu classes, shopping malls, etc. It says, or if they leave the office, they're going home and going to cry themselves to sleep. Oh, that is so sad. Aww. Welcome to the real world. I'm just messing around. Just a little jokey joke. Don't get mad at me, right? Just a little jokey joke.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
I am. You all know that I am a knucklehead at times, right? So please, it was just a little joke, right? Just a little jokey joke. All right. Anyways, let's get to our last segment of work. All right. So, let's take a quick look at, let me throw up 20 minutes.
It's time to do.
Let me see. Do I have Docker running? All right. So let's go to the documentation. And we are going to go to, so this is how to tear it down. Let's go to, open up a new link. Let's go to Docker. Docker installation, install n8n in a clean environment, easier setup for your preferred database, can avoid issues due to operating systems as Docker provides consistent system, can avoid compatibility issues due to differences in operating systems, yada, yada, right? We've used Docker plenty of times on this channel. We already have Docker desktop set up on our computer. I'm not sharing. Hold on, let me share. Basically, why using Docker is helpful. And maybe we will at some point do the DigitalOcean or Heroku setup with Docker, so we can get it running there. It's probably a lot cheaper running it on one of those platforms. But if we are going to be scaling it out, I don't know. It's all decisions that we have to make, right? But you can use n8n with Docker with Docker Compose. You can find Docker Compose configurations for various architectures in the n8n hosting repository. So we already have Docker desktop set up. Let me see if it's running. Let me see, Docker PS. It is not running. All right, so let me start up Docker Compose or Docker desktop. All right, Docker desktop is available for Mac and Windows. We already have that. Latest and next versions. Don't worry about that. Let me see. Starting n8n. So we will need to. So if we're doing it from the terminal with Postgres, where's the Docker Compose though? I don't want to go through this in particular. I'd rather just go to Docker Compose. All right, so updating Docker Compose. Docker, if you run n8n using Docker Compose, follow the steps to update. All right, so if we want to use Docker Compose, we will go to let's see. Let's do this one. Let me see what's in here. So in here, all right, we have Docker Compose in here. Subfolder with SSL, with Postgres, and worker. n8n container doesn't need to access the Docker socket. Maybe if you're doing SSL locally. Let's take a look at this. n8n with Postgres, start n8n with Postgres, Docker Compose up -d. Important, but before you do that, change the default users and passwords in the .env file. All right, so let's go and do go to n8n host. All right, so this is where we got it from. So let me take a look at here, and they told us to clone .git. So if we're looking at it over here, .io, code, n8n hosting.git. If we go to Docker Compose, let me see. All right, this is it. So we'll go here, or not this one, but we will do, let's go back a page. Go back a page. And, all right, so let's go to this right here. And let's go over to here. Let's do cd. And let's do git clone. Oops. Clone. And let's do -b. Newly learned. You could do -b, and we'll call that Docker Compose. cd. n8n hosting. Or no? What? Why did that work? Cloning into n8. Oh, okay, I see what happened. Okay, cd n8. Wait, what? Cloning into n8n hosting. cd. What? Let's try that one more time. Let me just do without the -b. That should have worked. All right, there you go. So it must have been that -b. All right, so cd n8n hosting, and then get checkout -b. Let's call that Docker compose. All right, now we shall go to, oh, I don't know. That's weird. Now let me do open. We will do this one, open, trust project, new window. Move that over here. And inside Docker Compose, let's do with Postgres.env. We will do tech coach Ralph admin. We will do TCR 2025 12233, and I'll just do underscore admin here, and we'll just do tech coach Ralph here. All right, so we have that set up. We can use this terminal here because we're here, and we're gonna do I think that was, let me check the documentation real quick. So with Postgres, so all we got to do is Docker Compose up, and that should be it. Default name of the database. The default can be changed. Do we need to change the default name? No, we don't need to change the default name. I did change the username and password, but we don't need to change the default name of the database, right? So let's go back over here, and we are going to do Docker Compose up -d for make it detached, or let's don't want to do -d. For now we'll do -d. CD Docker Compose. Oops, Docker Compose with Postgres. Now if we do Docker Compose up -d, and it is getting everything that it needs in order to be able to run this application on our computer. In the meantime, while it's doing that, let's go over to play around with what we put together so far. So let me close this one out. So we are here, and let's say test a simple agent example, I guess. Let's see. So when a message is received, do something. So let's say we open chat. Let's say hello. It's not doing anything. Oh wait, something happened. So it actually, the message got received, and now it took it to this agent tools over here. And then once that, so after it goes to this, let's see what this agent tool is here. So agent tool, prompt user message, system message, chat model, add memory, add tool. Error in subnode does not have any credentials. So in the subnode, we would need to put in our OpenAI credentials. And we could say, AI nodes, question and answer chain, sentiment analysis, information extractor. Definitely something to learn. So if you do add, you can add. So let's say we do AI. And let's say we look for Gemini, Google Gemini chat model. So we throw one of those on there. We get the credentials for our like created credentials for Gemini, store them in here, put your API key. We can do Anthropic. Test. It actually tries to connect with those credentials as well to make sure that they work. Let's see. Back to Canvas. I guess I didn't put the, oh, there goes the Anthropic. Anthropic. And let's say you do, let's see, Facebook trigger, Facebook leads ad trigger. Let's see what they have for Instagram. Nothing for Instagram. Let's see for X. X, formerly Twitter. So you can create a direct message. So like, let's say you can do something. Let's say you receive a message and you can have it trigger a message on a direct message on X, create a tweet, delete a tweet, like a tweet, retweet. I mean, yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff. Pretty powerful stuff. There's I don't know what boxes. Execute command on the host. It's really like an orchestrator. It is really like an orchestrator, right? Model context protocol client tool. The endpoint for the model client protocol, model controller, model context protocol server. If there's any authentication, what it is. Interesting stuff. Let me see if they have Perplexity. You probably have to connect to Perplexity with OpenAI. Let me see. I was telling somebody, like, you know what? I could probably build this. Some work I gave somebody to do. I'm like, you know, I could probably build a system for you to use based on 11. They had, I saw it, maybe that's a plugin that I saw somewhere, but I don't know. A lot of stuff is possible, right? A lot of stuff is possible. But I'm gonna leave that as is. We're gonna tear this down, and let's go and take a look at here. So after it's up and running, we should be able to access it on this port, I guess. Let's do, what's the port? It is this port right here. So let's do localhost. What? Now it is also running locally on my machine, where let's say you're using like Olama, your own, or what is that other one from China? What was that large language model that people were going crazy about because it was like cheap and fast or something, but you're like, oh, don't use it because it's very insecure. I don't know. But you can plug in, like, you can run this locally on your machine so that you can start building workflows. You could probably export those workflows and import them into like, let's say you have it running over here. You could probably import and export. Let me see. Create workflow credential. This is a project if you're using enterprise. Templates. Oh, look at that. Creating an API endpoint. Trending AI templates. Clone viral TikToks with AI avatar. Post auto post to 9 platforms using Perplexity and Blotado. Create AI videos, OpenAI scripts, Leonardo images, and HeyGen avatars. A lot of ideas that you have stuff you can do over here. Personalized AI technology that are using RSS, OpenAI, and Gmail. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, I see what's going on here. I've got the message, Wave Nerd. I have the message, right? I have the message. But let me see. You could probably import a workflow, I'm guessing. Not sure where. A lot of stuff to learn on this, but I think this was really cool. I think this was really, really cool, really helpful. DeepSeek. Yep, there you go. Thank you, Wave Nerd. Thank you. DeepSeek, that's the name of them. But we have all of the. So we know how to run it in a professional environment using Kubernetes. We know how to install it locally to get familiar with it, to get a better understanding, create workflows. I'm sure there has to be a way that you can import it or share it or something like that. How? I'm not entirely sure yet, but I don't think that's a big deal. Not a big deal at all. But I think as far as a DevOps and infrastructure perspective, like what we did today, it is amazing. It is monumental, because these platforms where they can help you automate and facilitate things a lot faster, it is gold. It is gold, right? While we're here, let's see what else we can do. Okay. And funny enough, back in at 2 jobs ago, I actually built or helped build a platform for RSS chatbots, where it had an orchestrator tool like this, where you can drag nodes onto the canvas. You can link up to different stuff to have a somewhat of a conversational interaction. And now this is just going to the next level, where it's embedding AI into it, and the fact that you get to install it on your own, fair choice, I think they call it, fair code. Which that reminds me, we're going to talk about fair code. Or no, I'll make a separate video for fair code to analyze it. Maybe that'll be a software exploration concept and overview. What is fair code? Maybe, yeah, I think that's a good idea. What is fair code? We'll deep dive into that. But that's it. That's everything here. Let's actually no. Let's go here and see what else they have over here. Right. Transform t-shirt mockups into print-ready designs with GPT-4 Vision and Image AI. Create animated stories using GPT-4o Mini, Midjourney, Kling. Create-o-map. Look, this one right here. This create animated stories using GPT-4o, Midjourney, Kling, and Create-o-mate. I have pretty much done this here, with semi-manually, using AI and then putting it in here. And it is a lot. It is a lot of work. So if there is a workflow that does that, oh my goodness. Let me click onto this one. What does this workflow do? This workflow is designed to generate high quality short videos, primarily uses GPT-4o Mini, Midjourney, and Kling APIs from Pi API and Create-o-mate API, mainly for content creators, social media bloggers, and short form video creators. Though this short video workflow, users can quickly validate their creative ideas and focus more.
Lunch break.
Let me finish reading this. Focus more on enhancing the quality of their video, step by step. Fill in XAPI key, in basic parameters mode. Fill in the scenario of the image and video prompt. Fill in click test workflow and wait for generation within 10 to 20 minutes. In the workflow, we've established a basic structure of image to video generation with subtitle integration. What? You can further enhance it by adding music nodes using either Pi API audio models or your preferred music solution. Add all video elements will ultimately be composited through Creatomate. For best practice, please that is crazy. That is crazy. Param Styles is a children's book cover, character output video. Let me see. Let me put this on a different screen first, just to be careful what pops up. Let me see. Let me see. All right, so let's do this. This is what came up with what they did. All right, let me share. Whatever. I won't share the sound, but you can see what that workflow is able to do. Create a 15-second video. There's some music playing in the background. They probably prompted something from ChatGPT, generate an image based off of that, and then that goes into Kling, and then all that is taken and put into that Creatomate, and this is what comes out of it, right? That's pretty interesting, right? Anyways, let's go back to full screen. We are getting ready to wrap it up for today. Let me check the chat, and then we will wrap up the show. But let me know, did you guys have fun? Did you have a good time seeing all the possibilities of this n8n, which is helping us to automate our lives, automate our workflows, automate our businesses, You got me, Wave Nerd. You got me, right? You got me, Wave Nerd, right? So let me check the chat really quick. Let's see. Wave Nerd says system prompts for AI agents created from scratch is the diamonds and gold.
Let's get it.
And Wave Nerd kindly reminded me it is called DeepSeek. Yep, DeepSeek. Everyone told me stay far away from DeepSeek, and I have. All right. All right, so let's wrap up the show for today. So quick reminder, we are going to be going live with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tonight on the Half Guard Halfy channel. Does that have that up anywhere? Yeah, it's me. I'll drop a link one more time to the chat. Looking forward to seeing you there. Me, Henry, Naum, Justin are going to be talking about our competition from last Saturday. And it was like I said, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times, but it was definitely a learning experience. I just dropped a link to that in the chat. Looking forward to seeing you there tonight. Let's see other announcements. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be doing large language models. We're going to be getting into day 3 of large language models. And then tomorrow at noon, we're going to be premiering Candid Conversations. Should all friendships have some type of benefit to it, or are we just there for the vibes? Are we vibes, friends, or are we being intentional, as Don said about intentional with vibe coding? Are we being intentional with our friendships, or are we just vibe friends? All right. And regular Q&A show on Tuesday night. Wednesday, talking about AWS S3 uploader. Friday, the bug bite. What are we? We're talking about a major cryptocurrency cyber attack on Friday, so you definitely want to check that out. All right. But that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Do me a big favor. If you had a great time today, if you learned a lot about installing n8n, the automation orchestrator platform with AI and stuff like that on Google Cloud Platform and Kubernetes Engine, and a bonus, installing it locally with Docker Compose, then do me a big favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell every time we go live and drop new content. Looking forward to seeing you in the comments and in the chats, all of that good stuff, because we are learning together. We are on this journey together so that we can be great, leave everyone else in the dust, and we can ascend into the greatness, the great areas that we are supposed to be in. Let's run it up. But that's about it for today. Lastly, Wave Nerd says that great show. Thank you for your time and your talents. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I
Wave Nerd.
appreciate you.
And for putting this into my radar, and I'm able to find a way to integrate it into the works that we're doing day in and day out. So shout out to you. Thank you so much, Wave Nerd. But that's it for today. That is it for today. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sunday. And have a great week. Have a great week. Looking forward to seeing you tonight, tomorrow morning, and tomorrow at noon in the chat. But until then, my friends, this is Tech with Ralph with another episode of Learning DevOps. We're out. We are out.
They say I don't live in reality, and dreams I float like a stream. They say I need to grow up, who cares? Life's a wild, crazy thing. Sorry for thinking you can be successful. Magic in the air we breathe. I believe too much in you, girl, more than the things they preach. They say I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, feeling fine. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Sorry for thinking you can be successful. Magic in the air we breathe. I believe too much in you, girl, more than the things they preach. I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, fees they preach. They say I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, feelings they preach. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Not everyone is not me.